climate change already happening now.
Global warming caused the extremes to becoming more and more severe. In Jakarta, even the average rainfall is increasing by about 10 to 15%.
If we compare to the situation before the pre-industrial era, the climate's already changed.
Within the period of 2003 to 2005, 53% of Indonesian disaster or natural disaster could be linked to climate hydrological type of disaster.
On February 2007, it was the first time my community also got the flooding. It never happened before. I think the weather is changing.
If we look at Jakarta, there are a number of different contributing elements that put people, especially poor people, at greater risk. One of them is certainly the sea level rise and the more intense weather events that are stimulated by climate change. And that can lead to overloading the drainage system in the city, resulting in flooding. But there are other factors as well. For example, the lack of adequate solid waste management and the underinvestment in proper drainage. All of that contributes to the greater vulnerability of slum communities in Jakarta.
Climate change adaptation is about how we help community cope with this changing weather pattern, and it means more than just responding to disaster. It's about how we help the community to prepare. It is also about development.
During the flood in 2007, the water level got about this high, and the people, the residents, they evacuate themselves to higher grounds, to the hospital, to the shopping malls very close by, and they move all their belongings to the second level, where some of them stay to watch guard of their properties. Yeah, we are getting more and more aware that this has to do with climate change. The water level in the Jakarta Bay is getting higher, and also there's an issue of land subsidence. So that slows the discharge rate of this canal. That's why we are in need of adaptation measures towards climate change, or else communities like this are going to suffer most.
What you see with climate change adaptation, it is putting an additional layer of challenges on top of reaching the Millennium Development Goals and keeping them sustainable.
Adaptation is responding to global problem in a very local and case-by-case way, and there are already many examples around.
They're using tables to put the pressure, so it's higher, so when the water coming, it's the pressure still safe.
The key here is that we are building resilience of the local communities, and many of them have done that without the help of any agency or any government agencies.
Initially, their doorsteps would be here, but then after repeated annual flooding, they make it higher. So when the water is, they get quite safe. So these are adaptations that the community made out of their own initiatives.
Sekarang saya ada di belakang Masjid Jami Al-Khair. Setelah direnovasi, masjidnya jadi lebih tinggi dan bebas dari banjir kayaknya.
Kalau saya camai, saya sini
Terus?
ini kali saya tidak sukai. Karena banyak sampah.
Nih seperti muka aja nih, tercemar.
Wih lain coy, orang ganteng.
Udah
ada.
Tapi waktu bila banjir, kalau air limbahnya meluap itu wajar karena banjir. Tapi pada musim kering ini tidak, sangat bagus sekali perawatannya. Dan got-got juga setiap minggu sekali dibersihkan oleh semua warga.
Kita untungnya dekat rel tuh, kalau banjir bisa ngungsi ke rel, berduyun-duyun, bikin tenda di rel rame-rame begitu.
Ini lagi bersih sampah, Bu.
Gotnya, kayak sampahnya.
Banjir kalau hujannya gede. Tapi kalau dibersihin enggak ya? Enggak. Oh ya, ya Mbak, makasih ya.
After a disaster, poor people have lost their capital. They've lost their home, which often is collateral or even the location of small business. They've lost their savings, and they've often lost skills. So there has to be really a package, and that often involves microfinance to allow people to regain their assets, their productive assets, and rejoin the economy, but also capacity building, technical assistance, and training, as well as the infrastructure that's needed to allow poor people to more effectively participate in the economy.
Climate change means that there are more disasters happening, and it means that there will more work for Red Cross.
What we have to do is shift from bringing all the expertise and support from the outside to empowering communities to take control. The communities must drive the process. They live in these polluted areas.
Respond is spend a lot of time and energy. We only deal with the impact of disaster. The disaster preparedness and disaster response should be balanced. But the capacity building is very important for us. So PMI in chapter and branches not only strong in disaster response, but at least they have to initiate the community-based program, disaster risk reduction program.
The society should be prepared to adapt to climate change. It is completely Red Cross mandate. The sooner we act, is the better. Okay, we are racing against time. Act now, and we should understand that we owe to the next generation.